If by chance you called Good Morning America this morning, you saw them live from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, as they continue their Mississippi Strong series. And today was a good day. They had the unveiling of keys for the new homes to two families. Joining us today is Britt Williamson. He is the chairman of Rolling Fork Rising and pastor of First Baptist Rolling Fork. He's been on Good Things before, talking about all the good they're going on there. But today was a special day, wasn't it, Britt?
A great day. Thank you for having me on again.
Oh, it's so good to have you back, especially on days like today. So set it up for us. What all was happening in Rolling Fork today?
What's been happening? We've known that Good Morning America was coming today for about a month, but we had to keep it under wraps because we didn't need, our two families finding out anything. And so it's kind of been a big secret till this morning, and been a lot of work and a lot of planning and effort that went into the big reveal today. And so we had Robin Roberts and Good Morning America in, and our first two families that have done all the classes and done all their work, that have gone through everything they needed to do. They were told this morning they, show them the houses that they'll be buying.
That is amazing. And if they were listening a while back, I guess a couple of months, Britt, you came on and was talking about this idea of providing homes for those that may have been renting in Rolling Fork. You brought an interesting perspective that many of the homes that were lost were actually from those that were from renters, and that they weren't going to be built back. And so that was a big gap for those who called Rolling Fork home, who maybe didn't have the means or weren't purchasing homes. So catch us from there. How did we get from it being an idea to now you have your first two chosen homeowners that, received their keys today?
Well, it's really a God-sized task, and God has really put this whole program together. He's given us a wonderful board of directors who are all, on the same page, just wanting to be vessels of hope to bless families that really were not in a position to be able to be a homeowner. He's provided us with a great construction manager and Brad Craddock, a great administrative assistant. We have St. Vincent Paul doing all our case management and working with the families to get them, doing everything that they need to do to get to approval. We have a lot of local farmers that have let us borrow tractors and excavators and dozers so that we don't have to buy or rent that equipment. It's a whole team effort, but the team has really truly been put together by God. And for us to be 8 months away from the tornado, to have two houses very close to completion, the only way you can explain that is to just give God the glory.
And this isn't the last two that you guys hope to provide for residents there in Rolling Fork. What's the long-term projection, Britt?
Well, we don't like to talk about numbers because if you put a number out there and you don't do that many houses, you kind of look like a failure. But I will say this: we have around 100 renter families in the program. So there's a need for 100 houses. I don't know if we'll ever do 100 houses, but as you saw in Good Morning America today, each house is costing us about $125,000. And that's what they gave us this morning. So that's another step closer to doing another house, to being able to put one of these displaced families, not in a rental home, not in an apartment, but in their actual own home. And so, we want to do as many as we can. We're really not putting a number on it. And as long as God keeps sending us the funds, we're going to keep doing it.
You talk about the program, Britt, which I think is really part of what makes this special. And even the lady there on Good Morning America this morning was talking about going through the program. And I love that one of her answers was one of the things she learned the most was that it was all about community and, being there, being grounded and rooted in Rolling Fork. Going from a renter to an actual homeowner means you have roots there, right? And I think, for those of us who are homeowners in our cities, we sort of get that. But talk about the program. Talk about what the 98 left. we're going to chip it away that way, that are left going through it, what they go through, and then, with the hopes of being a homeowner after.
So we designed a holistic program to help these families, mind, body, and soul. And so they have to go through several classes. The first is what we call a Foundation of Hope class. It's an hour-long class that really explains to them what the program is, who we are as a board and a nonprofit, and what we're trying to accomplish and what we expect out of them. Then they have to go through 2 different 3-hour financial literacy classes, which is just basic financial literacy things like budgeting, how to save money, how to open a checking account, just basic things that many people take for granted that we really don't have that education level here in the Delta. The 3rd class is a homeowner's class, and it goes over the differences between being a renter and a homeowner. And the example I use with the families is if you're a renter and your hot water heater goes out, what do? You just make a phone call. It's somebody else's problem. And if you own that home now, that's your hot water heater. You have to be able to know what to do, how to maintain your home, how to do a scheduled maintenance so your home doesn't get into disrepair. And so those are the classes. And at the end of the classes, then they have to go through 3 one-hour counseling sessions. Everybody here in Rolling Fork has some type of post-traumatic stress from the tornado in March. The week of Thanksgiving, when the bad weather came throughout Mississippi, we were first under a tornado watch here, and then it went to a warning, and it was just so much fear and so much trembling with adults, children. Everybody's kind of reliving that night. And so we don't want to just put people in a home. We want them to be healthy. We want them to have the education to be able to take care of that home. But we want them to also be on the healing process emotionally from the damage that that storm caused emotionally and mentally in March. And so once they've completed all of the classes and all the emotional spiritual care training, which is the counseling, then this is just a bunch of paperwork they have to do with our case management team. And so we as a board, we don't pick who starts the classes. We don't pick who gets approved for the houses. We have St. Vincent de Paul Disaster Services doing that for us. And so basically if a family's willing to put in the work and do the classes, then at the end of the program, they'll have the opportunity to purchase a $150,000 home for less than $100,000. And on top of that, we're underwriting the mortgage as a nonprofit, and we're giving them a 20-year mortgage at 0%. And so one of the main goals we wanted is to the top rent in Rolling Fork before the tornado was $600 a month. And so we didn't want their total payment with insurance and taxes to be over $600 a month. And so really the only way we could do that with interest rates being what they are on mortgages these days is to, hold those mortgages ourselves and give them a 0% mortgage. And so one of the things I talk about in the Foundation of Hope class is this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There's nowhere else where someone else is going to do all the work building the house, and someone's going to put in all that time and all that effort, and at the end of the day, they're going to sell it to you for less than the value and give you a 0% mortgage.
Amen to that, Pastor.
Nobody's going to do that.
Amen to that. But obviously, as you mentioned, I mean, this isn't a handout. This is a hand up because what Rolling Fork and the community has been through, and then all the people fighting like heck to provide opportunities for the community to stay strong and to get healthy again. So this is definitely, a good thing, and trying to keep the community together, which I think is something your message has come through so often. It's just you wanted to find a way to give people the opportunity to continue to call Rolling Fork home. And I think that's super important. So how can we help? Those of us that don't live in Rolling Fork, those of us who are still, though, wanting to help in any way we can, how can we help make sure that all 100, if possible, see the opportunity to be homeowners?
So we need four main areas of help. The first is prayer, just praying for us as a board, our community. A lot of these families are still displaced. They're living in Greenville, Yazoo City, and so just praying for these families. Unfortunately, we need money, and, they can go to our website. It's rollingforkrising.org. Our Venmo's there, our Cash App's there. You can do credit card giving there. Our address is there if they want to send a check because it costs a lot of money to build a house. You got to have materials. So we need materials. So if anybody can give us discounts on materials, donated materials. And then the last thing is we need volunteers. And one of the ways we're keeping our costs down is using volunteer labor. We've already had 3 volunteer teams in working on our houses, and we have a lot more scheduled for next year. But we have plenty of opportunity for people to come in, whether it's for a day, 3 days. We even have teams coming in next year for 2 whole weeks to come in and volunteer to help build these houses, to help us save on that labor cost. And so prayer, funding, materials, and volunteers to come help us.
Well, Pastor Britt, congratulations on seeing the fruition of it in the 2 houses today. We look forward to hearing from you in 2024, and Merry Christmas.
All right, Merry Christmas to you. Have a great day.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.